Hey guys, so it's a new year, and if you're like me, one of your New Year's resolutions is to become a better cardist. This video is just going over some common mistakes I have seen with not just myself, but other cardists. I've seen them make these mistakes as well, and I just think that if we can fix these mistakes, we can all become better, and the mistakes will happen less often too, or we can all just learn from our mistakes, you know? Now, these are also opinion kind of mistakes. Now, if you don't think that these mistakes are mistakes and you just don't feel like fixing them, or you think I'm wrong, or literally anything like that, then you don't have to fix them or do anything. Perform cardistry however you want. I just think that these things can be improved upon, and that's why I'm going over them. Also, don't feel bad if you have made these mistakes, because it's just part of the learning process. And again, I've made mistakes too, and everyone makes mistakes because we're all human. Especially if you try to learn from like a not so good tutorial, it's easy to miss subtle details, but these are mistakes that can be easily fixed and can make your cardistry look a lot better. So yeah, let's get into those mistakes. This move, Bullet by Andre Jit. Now this is quite a knacky flourish, especially when it comes to the wrist motion and just the flicking twirl of the card. But one common mistake I have seen is gripping the card on the wrong edge. I've seen some people clip it on the short edge instead of the corner on the long edge. But if you clip it on the long edge, it makes it a lot easier to bring the card back to the side of the deck. But if you clip it on the short edge, the twirl looks very different than how Andre does it. I personally think it looks a lot better when you clip it on the corner of the long edge. If you need to slow down when practicing, that will help too, to make sure you're clipping it in the right position. Again, that flick is very knacky, especially when adding the wrist motion as well. So here's a slow motion of how I try to do Bullet, and I think it looks pretty good how I do it. I'm not saying it's the best, but it definitely looks a lot better than how I used to do it. Another mistake that I noticed is in Friffle by Oliver Sogard. I've seen some people do it at an obtuse angle. To me, that just doesn't look as good because it doesn't add near as much motion. Try and make the angle of the cards falling at least 90 degrees or smaller. Another flourish is Phaced by Tobias Levin. Now this one really doesn't matter, but I do see a lot of people not putting the rotating packet in between the scissor cut, and then they're just using their ring finger to rotate the packet. This isn't really something you have to change, but I thought I should mention it anyway, since I see a lot of people doing it. If you really want to do it the way Tobias does, make sure to put that packet in between the scissor cut, and that will also just give your ring finger just a little bit less work that it has to do. Another move by Tobias is Fairfax. One of the biggest mistakes that I see with this is just not having the best flow, and that's because you're spending a lot of time trying to regrip the packets before the break. But this can be avoided if you reposition your fingers at the start of the move, and I do have a full video on this as well. It's not great though, it's kind of old and I was not good at it. But again, just reposition your fingers and that will get rid of the gaps in your performance like I'm showing here. This next move is Legolove by Nikolai Pedersen, and the biggest issue is that a lot of cardists tend to let go of the single card before rotating the packet, but instead of letting go of the single card with your pinky, you should rotate it and then let go. That way the single card is not just sitting there while you're taking an extra second or two to rotate the packet. And this goes for both the flipping and the sliding Legolove. Again, keep the card clipped between your middle ring and pinky finger, rotate the packet, and then let go with your pinky. I do have a full video linked down below. Another flourish by Nikolai Pedersen is Spin Doctor. The mistake is not rotating the packet behind the back of your fingers, and instead just rotating it in front like this. But it really does give the move just a little bit more flash if you do it the original way, and it gives more rotation. And also, when peeling off, you still have to rotate the packet during that as well. What I used to do was just move my hands instead of actually rotating the packet. So just be sure to rotate the packet a little bit more in Spin Doctor. Another move by Nikolai is Barolo 2. The first thing is not doing the scissor motion. Now, the scissor motion is basically taking your thumb and moving it to the top short edge of the base packet, like so. Another thing is not doing correct wrist motions, or not doing enough wrist motion, and just doing more wrist motions will make the rotating actions more flashy and smoother, and then the move won't look as static. And another mistake is not rotating the packets as far as they can be. Now, I also have a full video on this as well, linked down below. Alright, that's nearing the end of the video. Again, these are all just kind of opinion kind of things, and if you disagree, you don't have to do anything, but feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if you have made these mistakes, or if you agree with me that your cardistry can look better if you fix these mistakes. But yeah, another one of my New Year's resolutions for 2022 is to get 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, please subscribe. It really does help me out, and it does mean a lot. And yeah, thank you for watching. Be sure to again subscribe and like this video, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Not entirely sure what's going on with this part, but yeah.